PMKs Jasmine Moore, Shawn, Whetzel, and Elizabeth Rafferty. Nickel Taphouse Management LLC, trading as Nickel Taphouse, 1604 Kelly Avenue, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license. Application to transfer ownership, request for outdoor table service. And by testifying, please support and raise your hand.
Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants.
Thank you. Agent Howard?
Agent John Howard, I'm standing in for Inspector Ray, who did the posting on August 12th at 1604 Kelly Avenue for the application for transfer of ownership and request for outdoor table service. I have no other information.
Thank you very much, Agent. Just for the record, I did run into somebody at lunch today, and they said these looks like some good guys, and that was Ed Bloom, who runs Ethel and Ramones, and that was all that was said. So, if anybody wants me to recuse myself, we try not to prejudge these cases, but when you live in Baltimore, you're always running into somebody. All right, hearing no request for recusal. Let's tell me how good these guys are, Mr. Kaninsky. Prove it.
That's going to be taking over an existing location that Matt Lal had. And in the file, there were supposed to be some letters in there from the various, from Ricky Spector and the one of the community groups, the Mount Washington group, that were in favor of this. That to be made as one of our exhibits.
It is a letter from Councilwoman Rochelle Ricky Spector to Mr. Douglas Page, dated yesterday, indicating a position of support and supporting that position taken by the Mount Washington Village Association regarding the Nickel Tap House. She says the association has met with the applicant, reviewed plans for the establishment. Neither her nor the association have any objection to the application and welcome the applicant into the Mount Washington Village family of businesses. So that's received as the first exhibit.
All right. Next, I would submit a copy of the menu. Let's give you a little idea of what they're going to do there.
Sure. We got a one-page menu, applicant's second exhibit. Thank you.
Third is I have a copy of the letter that was sent by Kola Savakis. I'm assuming that the original was sent to the board because it addressed to Ms. Schroeder, but it may or may not be in there. I think
Yeah, we do have it.
Oh, you have it?
We do. All right, letter dated September 9th, 2013, from Kula Savakis, president of the Mount Washington Village Association, raising no objection to the application and indicating they've spoken with Mr. Haas and that they look forward to joining them in business. Third exhibit received.
We have a petition signed by various individuals in the area.
All right, two-page petition in support. Applicant's 4 is received.
Shawn, come on. Why
Now,
don't you
tell me
use
about
that
this
one?
letter of agreement that's in the file. Was this signed, or is this something I shouldn't? I've got a couple copies of it. I can't tell yet if it's been executed or not. It looks like an MOU plus some emails attached to it, but it doesn't appear anything signed. So is Mr. Haas here? Okay, hi, Mr. Haas. How are you doing?
Good.
Heard good things about you. Yeah.
Thank you.
At least that's what Mr. Bloom says.
You know what-
All right.
You gave your name. You can use that microphone there.
Robin Haas. Haas.
Now, this letter of
Robin with 2 B's.
this memory of understanding, you said you signed this one?
I did sign.
So I'm
They
not,
have a hard, they do have a hard copy of that.
Okay, there we
Okay.
go. What we had was 3 unexecuted copies in the file, but now I'm seeing that we did receive a fax of an executed copy signed by you, Mr. Haas,
Yes.
both on behalf of the applicant and on behalf of Nickel Tap House, and then signed by Bryce Butler, Vice President of the Mount Washington Improvement Association.
Yes.
All right, so let's, this is the one obviously we'll consider. This is the applicant's 5th exhibit. It is received, and at this time, if you will voir dire, Mr. Haas, I understand Mr. Haas is not the licensee
He's
in
a
this
general
matter
manager there.
because he may have another license in the city. So what I'd like you to do is to voir dire Ms. Moore, Mr. Whetzel, and Ms. Rafferty regarding their intention to be bound by this agreement.
Okay. Let Shawn step up. State your name and address for the record.
Shawn Whetzel, 2075 Druid Park Drive.
Yeah, and you're familiar with this memorandum of understanding was signed with the community, is that correct?
Yes.
And you agree that you have to consent to be bound by it, and you're agreeing to be bound by it, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you know what the community is looking for, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, you want to step up, Jasmine? State your name and address for the record, please.
Jasmine Moore, 2670 Clear Road.
All right, and you understand the terms and conditions of the memorandum of understanding, and you agree to be bound by them, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And if you could add, and I may ask you to go back, add that I want to make sure the applicants understand that they agree to be bound as if they sign the agreement themselves.
You understand that?
I understand that.
All right, thank you.
All right, Shawn, you want to get up and just say the same thing you were, as though you signed it yourself, you would agree to be bound by, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Rafferty, 405 Woodford Road.
And you understand the terms and conditions, you agree to be bound by them as though you signed, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and then, Mr. Haas, you started talking, why don't you tell the board basically what the concept here is and
The
what's...
overall concept of the nickel tap house is to be more or less an upscale neighborhood restaurant. Well, there's some great restaurants in Mount Washington. We saw and felt a need for one more area they come in and do something which offers a little scale down. I don't know, scale down would be the right word, but less expensive option to some of the other neighborhood restaurants. It's going to be 32 craft beers on draft. It'll definitely be a restaurant. I mean, we're all restaurateurs. We don't really know how to run bars. And approximately 100 seats, 26 seats at the bar. The menu's going to focus on, fresh seafood, primarily oysters, mussels, and some local fish. 5 and dime burgers, which mean 5-ounce burgers, because the nickel tap house we're doing in 5-ounce increments. Lots of stuff in jars that you can spread. We really want people to come in and just stop in after work, grab a beer, have something to eat, maybe meet your wife. And I don't know much more to add to it than that. We're remodeling the whole property, putting in plank wood floors, redoing all the booths, lighting's changing, kitchen changed a little bit, not much. That's about it.
Sure, LLC in good standing?
Yes.
All right. The 3 individuals here that are licensees, they're all people that are qualified that have worked in various other restaurants, is that
I
correct?
think between the 3 of them, they probably have 50 years of experience.
Okay. And they're-
Y'all don't look that old.
Well, you have to add it together.
I understand.
Just a point of clarification, you said 100 seats for 26 at the bar? You mean 25 at the bar, 75 at tables?
Yes.
Let's do a quick rundown on that half century of experience. Miss Moore, you worked in, come on up. Tell us about your experience at Phillips, Southern Boys, and Divine Dining.
I started at Phillips Seafood. Before that, I was hourly positions, but I managed for Phillips Seafood. I opened a restaurant for them in 2003 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. After a couple years, I was transferred to the Inner Harbor of Baltimore and managed at that location for Phillips. After that, I went back to Myrtle Beach and worked for a company called Divine Dining, which is the biggest local restaurant company in Myrtle Beach. I managed 2 locations for them simultaneously, and then went to Southern Boys Concepts, which is the biggest local restaurant company in Salisbury, Maryland, and managed for them as well.
Now, do you still live on the Eastern Shore?
I do.
Are you going to be moving up here?
Yes.
Where is Eden, outside of Salisbury?
What is that?
You list an address in Eden, Maryland?
Yes.
Where is Eden?
It's right outside of Salisbury.
Okay.
I do the accounting for Southern Boys Concept, so I'll continue to do that as well.
All right, and about how much time will you be will you be at the Nickel Tap House?
Percentage-wise of my work time, 50%.
Okay. You're already alcohol management certified?
I am.
Great. All
I
right.
have that with me if you need it.
Not a problem.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ms. Moore. Mr. Whetzel,
Yes.
why don't you tell us about your exciting projects?
Well, a long time ago, I was an hourly employee at different bars and restaurants, like Ms. Moore stated. And then I started with a management with a company called Market Street Inn for about 2.5 years. And that's when I met Ms. Moore at Southern Boys Concepts, and they brought me along, as well as I met Mr. Haas. And about a year ago, October 1st, Mr. Haas brought me to Baltimore to open up Bureauteca. And here we are today, opening a new one.
All right, so I assume the beers, I mean, you got 32, you're looking at 32 taps at Nickel
Correct.
Tap House. Similar selections as at Bureauteca?
Very similar, but we also want to try to keep with the American crafts more than the import crafts.
More American crafts?
More American
at-
crafts.
At Nickel?
Yep, correct.
Okay, great, all right. Ms. Rafferty, are you the city resident?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Are you going to work there too?
Yes, I think I can work there too.
You're allowed to. I just
Yes.
wasn't sure if you were or not. Tell me about your prior experience in alcohol management.
Well, I started working for Phillips in Ocean City when I was 17, so of course I did not have alcohol management
Right.
experience at that age, but when I turned 18, I was able to start serving alcohol. I worked at Phillips, I would say, up until the current, I worked for Phillips last weekend, so all those years in between
Right.
17 and my age now.
And you've been a full-time, and you also worked full-time for Baltimore County Library Systems?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Proper information that was placed on the application was correct when it was filed, and is also correct at this time. I met with the community.
Right. As for good character, witnesses, Board of Elections has indicated that there are at least 3 registered voters on the application. Heather Keating, Kyle Durkee, and Michael Moran are indeed registered voters according to Board of Elections. Looks like Miss Heather Keating is also a property owner at the address listed. Kyle Durkee is also a property owner at the address listed on the application, and so is Michael Moran. So that is indeed the 3 required. That information regarding property ownership was pulled off the internet from the State Department of Assessments taxation website. Anything else?
No, that was,
And you already testified the LLC is up to date?
that's correct.
Okay. Questions, commissioners?
None.
Let's go off the record. All right, let's go on the record. Decision phase, September 12, 2013. Jasmine Moore, Shawn Whetzel, and Elizabeth Rafferty. Nickel Taphouse Management, LLC, trading as Nickel Taphouse, 1604 Kelly Avenue. Say, application to transfer ownership and outdoor table service request for a B license. We spoke with applicant Jasmine Moore, who has extensive alcohol management experience on the Eastern Shore in South Carolina. Talked to Mr. Whetzel, who's got extensive experience, including management of Bureauteca, and Ms. Rafferty, although employed not in the alcohol business by day, has had extensive experience in the last 15 years. So, and all of this is being shadowed by Mr. Haas, who's known as somebody who's put some good concepts together in the city of Baltimore and beyond. It's no surprise that Councilwoman Ricky Spector endorses this project, as does the Mount Washington Village Association, as we received from Mr. Savakis, the president thereof, petition and support. And Mr. Haas signed on behalf of the licensees a letter of agreement, as it's called, between Mount Washington Improvement Association and Mr. Haas. Now, those limitations, we won't go through all of them, but some of them are very simple. There'll be no lottery games, no video terminals, nothing smaller than 375 milliliters to take off premises. other than growlers, and that you will, probably the most important restrictions are that there'll be no consumption outdoors after 10 p.m. And no off-premises sales after 10 p.m. And the applicants, although not signed by the applicants, signed by Mr. Haas, the applicants themselves have all indicated that they agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, the fifth exhibit, hereinafter referred to as the letter of agreement of August 29th, 2013. So based on all that evidence, it's easy to conclude under 10202A there's a public need and desire for this license. There's a de minimis impact on the existing license holders in the neighborhood. There is a potential uniqueness of products to be offered by your business. There'll be a wholesome impact on the general health, safety, and welfare of the community, including issues like crime, traffic, parking, and convenience. We'll go ahead and approve the application and wish you the best of luck. Before we leave, we did want to, they have not been approved by zoning for outdoor tables at this time.
I don't know whether it's still there or not. The prior applicant was going to apply for it, I'm not sure, but they would need zoning approval.
And anything that we've granted today will be subject to any conditions by zoning. Thank you very, very much. We are off the record.